I'm Major Berman from the Mortgage News Network. Got with me George Baker, who's the founder and CEO for Documents. Did I say that right?
You did.
You
did.
Very cool, very cool. So listen, I want to learn a little bit about the pain that you experienced when you were involved in production that led you to create Documents.
So, being in production for over 3 decades, one thing became apparently clear to me, and that is that our consumer information delivery model, the way that we provide information to consumers, is pretty flawed. In fact, I make the case that it's the genesis of all of our legal, regulatory, and compliance problems.
Interesting.
You know, we provide massive amounts of paper to people. It's not like we have tech, we have no tech. We do the same things that we did 50, 60 years ago. Sign this form, sign this form, sign this form. And the problem with all of this signing of forms, and all of us in the industry know it, is that people really don't know exactly what they're signing, or very few do. So it's my opinion that that particular process needs to slowly be phased out. And instead of transmitting information by having a person sign a form, we need to start focusing on transmitting information. And then when we become purely digital, then we would acknowledge it through a digital type of signature.
Right.
But prior to that, I created Documents with the idea that we could take all these documents, and the documents are a reflection of the mortgage transaction. So we're talking about the loan product, the risk, the features, the benefit. We're talking about the costs, the LE, the CD. We're talking about the application documents, the closing documents. If we could take this information and provide to the loan applicant a learning experience to supplement this massive amount of paper, and then verify that the applicant understands the loan that they're getting into, we're providing 2 things. We're providing, 1, borrower comfort, which is really important. When someone makes a decision to do a loan with somebody, we need to make them feel comfortable. Paper doesn't do it, but technology does, and we're also providing the highest form of compliance.
So, and it's kind of like you're saying, okay, listen, we have required documents, and usually the attorney sits down and is like, listen, let's make this easy for you. Just sit there, and I'm going to tell you sign, sign, sign. You're saying, actually, let's make it so you're actually going through a learning process, and you understand what you're signing, and there's never a question later on that you were presented to these things, as opposed to the old way of sign, 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 and when your hand is tired and you can't feel it anymore, that's when you're done with the process.
That's correct. My push to lenders in today's day is that if we were to embrace the idea of using technology to inform loan applicants instead of this paper process, we truly would improve the overall format of our legal, regulatory, and compliance type of situation. But change comes slow in the mortgage business. We're a regulated business. We do what regulators tell us to do. No more, no less. Sometimes we do less and claim we did what they told us to do. But that's the idea. So this is a new concept, but it's a very viable concept, which we think is going to do quite well.
Well, you know, listen, we could talk about all the bad things that CFPB has done and how it's made it difficult. The one thing actually that they really seem to focus on is customer experience. And while that's not a specific tangible thing that we could do, it's led us to create things and services that are not required. I don't need to use Documents.
That's right.
I'm not going to be in trouble. However, that customer experience is going to make everyone happier, including the lender, including the borrower, because they actually figure out what they're going to be getting into. And that's some pretty great things. Now, I want to ask you, because I know you were a former mortgage broker. You seem to have a history of kind of empowering third-party originators. Do you feel that the mortgage broker is coming back? Because I'm seeing a lot more people talking about it and excited about the model. Talk a little bit about that if you could, George.
All right, so mortgage brokers, as we all know, are low-cost originators, and that's really important for the industry. The problem with the mortgage brokerage community is prior to our meltdown in 2008, we did about 70% of the business. And then when the meltdown occurred, the mortgage brokers were the bad boys. We were the ones that took it on the chin. Everybody knows that the 2008 meltdown was multiple parties involved in multiple different types of things. And it was very unfair, particularly if you go see a movie, for example, called The Big Short. We took it on the chin, mortgage brokers took it on the chin. So our numbers plummeted dramatically, and that's not fair. So what I believe is that if we can take away this idea that a mortgage broker is lying to somebody, a mortgage broker is not being totally truthful with somebody, then we have the opportunity to build that base up. because again, brokers are low-cost originators, and they provide a very valuable service with respect to looking for options, interest rates, from a broad spectrum of investors to provide to loan applicants. So, if I may, going back to documents, if we can use this educational experience to take this doubt away, my hope is that the brokerage community will continue to grow. My hope is that lenders that are not in the wholesale business because they're fearful of compliance will get back into it. And we'll see again a proliferation in the mortgage brokerage community.
You know, it's interesting you talk about this, about transparency, because if you think actually the mortgage broker, you can't get any more transparent. You see how much she's making on the deal?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's everything is full transparency, and documents is that next level of, okay, you don't have to do this, but this is a voluntary thing, so you can get extra credit. And listen, we're in a competitive marketplace. Anything we could do to set us aside from going to the local savings bank down the block and giving your mortgage there is something I think that is great to empower the mortgage broker to do. Great service. If someone wants to get a hold of you, can get a hold of you directly or learn a little bit more about Talkuments, what's the best way to do that?
They can go to talkuments.com, talkuments.com, and can certainly contact us there. And my name is George Baker, gbaker@talkuments.com.
Fantastic. George, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm Andrew Berman from the Mortgage News Network, coming to you from Colorado. Thank you for watching.
This is Mortgage News Network.